Good evening and welcome to the WDSU News Hot Seat. I'm Travers Mackel. We are kicking off our election season debates. Up first tonight, City Council District A. This is the seat that's currently held by Joe Giarrusso. He is barred by term limits from seeking re-election. 5 people have qualified to run for that seat. The good news is they are all here tonight to participate in this forum debate. We're going to skip introductions because we're going to let you all introduce yourselves and make an opening statement. We'll start off with you, Ms. Friedman. You have 30 seconds to make an opening statement and let people know why you feel you're the best candidate in this race.
Thank you, Travers. I'm Holly Friedman, and I'm running for City Council District A. I keep hearing the same thing from residents over and over again. They love New Orleans, but it's getting harder and harder to live here. We are paying high property taxes and getting very little city services delivered. I am the most experienced person in this race. I worked for Councilmember Giarrusso for 4 years, and I have 10 years of experience in the criminal justice system. I'm ready to bring that experience and leadership to City Council. Thank you.
All right, way to come in under time as well. You have 30 seconds, Ms. McCarron.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Amy McCarron, and I'm running for City Council District A because, like you, I love our city. I was born here, raised here, worked in restaurants and finance. And for the last 3 years, I've worked as Councilmember Joe Giarrusso's Policy and Budget Director. And I'm gonna bring that knowledge of the budget and the way the City Council works to bring changes for you, meaning bringing city services back in-house to provide better city services for you. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Mossig, we're doing well here. We're all coming in under 30 seconds. Ms. Mossig, you're up now. You have 30 seconds.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Alex Mossing, and I am a native New Orleanian and a lifelong resident of District A. I'm also a teacher, and it's my job to teach kids how the government is supposed to work. Unfortunately, that's really challenging when our local city government doesn't function properly. If I'm elected city council person, I'm excited to bring my understanding of civics, my knowledge of people, and my experience solving complex problems with limited resources to help create a New Orleans that works for everyone.
All right, Mr. Morrell, you're up. You have 30 seconds for an opening statement.
Hi, I'm Bob Morrell, and I'm running to put people first. I was born at Charity Hospital, public school my whole life, and I have over a decade of leadership experience as a senior engineer and project manager, as well as at my church and in DSA. I fight for housing justice, workers' rights, racial justice, and more, and I'm the only candidate with a thorough platform on my website at bob4districta.com. I'm your choice if you want lower energy bills, more splash pads and less surveillance cameras, and to get ICE out of New Orleans. Thank you.
All right, Bob. Ms. Neal, you wrap us up. You're the only Republican in this race. You have 30 seconds to make a statement as well, too.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm Bridget Neal. I'm running for City Council District A. My credentials are both international and local, specifically working on the French Quarter Plan, but I want to kind of jump into my platform because I'd like to answer things based on that, and I need to add a little context. So restructuring all elected and non-elected positions, reforming the homeroom charter, and creating a Citizens Bill of Rights. And hopefully the questions will allow me to respond within those 3 silos.
Well, hopefully so. Here's the first question. You get it in 30 seconds. What is your plan for West End? Obviously a major project in District A. It's 2 parishes, Jefferson and New Orleans. In 30 seconds, what is your plan for the redevelopment of West End?
I live in West End, and they just built the community sales center. And when they did not upgrade the infrastructure to the extent that we don't have a lot of water pressure anymore. So I know that they want economic development. I have no reason to believe that we'd be able to sustain with our insurance costs going up. I have no reason to believe that they could sustain economic or restaurants, for-profit businesses. I think I'm against it. I'm on the fence because I live there, but I'm pretty sure that they'd have to come up with a really good plan, and they'd have to show me that they could actually execute it in a way that didn't negatively impact all of us.
All right, Mr. Morrell, same question, 30 seconds. What's your plan if elected for West End?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I think on the Orleans side at least, getting the neighborhood participation program back in place to make sure that residents have their own voice in what happens in their community. Again, I'm about people before profits, so for me, it's making sure that the residents are able to leverage where they live as best as possible, and to make sure that the working jobs that we have available for any economic development are good paying, healthy jobs that ideally would be unionized.
All right. Ms. Mossing, what is your plan in 30 seconds for West End?
So growing up in New Orleans, I have fond memories of spending time at Coconut Beach on West End and going to Brunnings with my family. And I think for the last 20 years since Katrina, we focused so much on protecting ourselves from the waterways that we live with. And we've really neglected to find productive and healthy ways to engage with those areas. And I think the redevelopment of West End can be an opportunity for us to get back to these important resources for both sort of quality of life and in public spaces that we can all enjoy, and also opportunities for economic improvement and development, new jobs, and neighborhood participation in that process.
On a lighter note, you left out Sid Mars of Bucktown, which was fantastic back in the day. Ms. McCarron, you have 30 seconds to let us know what your plan is for West End.
Thank you, Travers. Well, you know, we actually did a lot of work on this in Councilmember Giarrusso's office, and we almost had it to the finish line until this administration kind of tore it apart. At West End has to be redeveloped. We've talked to the neighbors, we've gotten agreement with Jefferson Parish and the state to move things forward, and we've got to get that RFQ out to get it developed. I too remember going to Brunnings with my family, and I have a picture of us enjoying the space out there. It needs to be redeveloped, especially because our West End neighbors and our West Lakeview neighbors can have a space to live that works for all of us.
All right, same question in 30 seconds. Ms. Friedman, what's your plan for West End?
Thank you. So I'm very excited about the potential for developing West End. I think we need to be good partners with Jefferson Parish and bring back that economic development to West End. But also, every resident I've spoken to in Lakeview has fond memories of that area, and they want it to be developed. Of course, developed in a thoughtful and meaningful way and with neighborhood participation. But yes, I'm excited for the development of West End.
All right, in 30 seconds, Ms. Morrell, we're going to start this one with you. Crime is down, historic lows, 55 murders in the city right now. Any murder is too much, but we are at historic low levels. If you are elected as the District 8 council member, would you recommend to the new mayor to keep Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick in 30 seconds?
Yeah, that's a great question. I do feel like there needs to be a stronger public participation when it comes to appointing people like the superintendent of the police department. I will say that for the first time in over a decade, the NOPD budget as a proportion of the whole budget has not increased year over year. And we're seeing that decline in spite of the fact that we have low numbers of manpower. So I feel like we're doing something correct, and that's making sure we're investing in social safety services and mental health and housing, and not just over policing.
All right, Ms. Mossing, in 30 seconds, would you recommend, if you're elected to a new mayor, to keep Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick with crime being very low right now?
I would recommend maintaining our current system. Ann Kirkpatrick has done a great job, and I especially appreciate the efforts to take some of the roles that were traditionally falling to overtaxed police officers and giving those roles to civilians who can adequately do that work. It's clear that whatever she's doing as the leader of that department is effective, and I would hate to shake that up at this point.
All right, same question. Ms. McCarron, in 30 seconds, what would be your recommendation to a new mayor if you're elected to District A?
Yes, I would recommend that we keep Chief Ann Kirkpatrick, and I think the reason why we're having such great stats on our crime is because of her role, but also the current council funding our resources that we've spent on civilianization and other tools for NOPD, and also our violence prevention that we spent in the neighborhood. I know what the council has currently funded and what's working and what's not, and I want to continue those things that we've done to improve and keep the public safety as it is.
All right, Ms. Friedman, 30 seconds. What would be your recommendation, if elected, on the future of Ann Kirkpatrick to a new mayor?
So I do recommend keeping Chief Kirkpatrick. I have the opportunity to talk daily with NOPD members as my current position at the DA's office as director of OSINT. The police officers, boots on the ground, supervisors, whatnot, all respect and appreciate Chief Kirkpatrick. I think she's done an excellent job. She's come into a new city and gained the respect and the dedication from their current police officers on the ground. I think that's an excellent badge of honor she should wear.
All right, Ms. Neal, you wrap us up on this question. In 30 seconds, what would your recommendation be if you're elected to District A?
She's well liked amongst our colleagues. I would actually focus on all the overtime that NOPD gets and how it's creating these budget runs, and how we could restructure it and hire more people directly so that we're not spending so much money on overtime. But she's lovely.
All right, thank you. Ms. Mossing, we're going to start this question with you. It's a 60-second one. You have a little bit more time for this one.
All right.
The fairgrounds is in District A. There's been a big controversy with, does Churchill stay or do they go? It's mainly a state issue, but it could be a city issue. What is your plan for the future of the fairgrounds in 60 seconds if elected?
Well, I think the fairgrounds are a major and very important component of our district, especially considering that they host not only these year-round racing events, but also obviously Jazz Fest. And so I think it's very important for us to be working really closely with our partners at the state and with our state delegation to advocate for whatever partnership with Churchill Downs, or maybe if we're moving on from that, whatever new organization may come in as a manager of that property, to make sure that we are maintaining the space and maintaining that resource for the community, especially with the major events that take place there. And I think that we should definitely be involving the Jazz and Heritage Foundation in all of those conversations.
All right, thank you. Ms. McCarron, in 60 seconds, what is your plan with all the controversy surrounding the the fairgrounds right now, excuse me?
Yes, thank you. So, I think that they have been a pivotal part in that community, and we need to make sure that things are still working for that neighborhood. I know from working with Councilmember Giarrusso that we spend time talking with them and making sure that everything works for Jazz Fest. It's a very important thing for our city, and I'm ready to work with our state partners and our city partners on how we can make sure that things stay as they are, but work for the neighborhood as well.
All right, Ms. Friedman, same question in 60 seconds. What would your plan be if elected for the future of the fairgrounds?
Okay. Thank you. I actually had the opportunity to be at the neighborhood meeting for Faubourg St. John when the fairgrounds, when Churchill Downs came to them and talked to them about the financial struggles. One thing I learned from being at that neighborhood meeting is the Faubourg St. John Association wants to have a good neighbor and partner be in the fairgrounds. So whether that's Churchill Downs, whether that's another institution coming in, I think there needs to be a lot of neighborhood talk and discussion in that, and being good partners, again, with not only the neighbors, the neighborhood association, but with the state as well.
All right, Ms. Neal, what is your answer to that? In 60 seconds, what would your plan be for the future of the fairgrounds if you're elected to District A?
Well, as an individual, I also value it very much. I need to look at the books to see how much money we're spending on it. You can see I spend a lot of time thinking about the budget, because the city council, that's really what they do. So how much money we're spending on it, how much we're not, but you're right about the neighborhood and them being a good neighbor. And so I'm not sure yet until I actually get a better idea of what's going on with their books. I know they're struggling financially, but what does that mean for the actual taxpayer?
Yeah, all right, thank you very much. Mr. Burrell, you get to wrap us up on this. 60 seconds, what would your plan be for the fairgrounds?
Yeah, so first and foremost, when I've been knocking doors around the fairgrounds area, one of the things that stood out to me was the rapid nature of fixing the infrastructure, the roadworks, just before Jazz Fest, only to see it go in disarray shortly thereafter. So again, a high emphasis on getting our neighbors actively engaged in this process, making sure whoever is running the facility is making sure that they're paying their fair share of taxes, whether that's a nonprofit to make sure that they are being feed accordingly, or for a for-profit company that is part of a state gambling operation. But at the end of the day, we need good paying jobs there, and that's obviously something that happens within the fairgrounds. So as long as the workers are happy and the neighbors are happy, that's what's important to me.
All right, we're going to start this question with you, Ms. McCarron. We all know that Joe Giarrusso is very popular in his district, but give me one topic in 30 seconds that you would do differently than Joe Giarrusso has done in the last 8 years.
That's a great question, Travers. Look, Joe has always been very accessible to the neighborhood groups and to people and constituents. But I want to level it up. I think that the district council member needs to be in the district more. And my plan is to have every week, me and a staff person is going to be in the district, available at a library, at a Nord Center, a community center. We're going to be available to you, the residents there, so that way you can reach us so you don't have to come behind city halls. I'm also going to be outside at construction sites every week to make sure that you see me in the district and in your neighborhood every single week.
All right, Ms. Friedman, same question.
Okay.
What would you do differently in 30 seconds than Joe Giarrusso did on any issue or topic?
Sure. Look, I think that Joe Giarrusso has set the bar for leadership, accessibility, and responsibility. I worked for him for 4 years, and we had to rise to his level of leadership. And so I appreciate his leadership. A little tongue-in-cheek, I think the only thing I would do is maybe not work as hard as Joe. And what I mean by that is he is 24/7. And I honestly, I don't think I'd do anything differently than Councilmember Giarrusso.
All right, thank you, Ms. Neal. In 30 seconds, give me one issue or topic that you would do differently than Joe Giarrusso did in the last 8 years.
What he's done really well is he's been responsive. However, I don't think that he's addressed some of the core structural problems that we have in the city. Not just the fact that we have gutted city services and all the third-party contractors that basically handle all the services that we do. We have 100 extraneous boards who do nothing but supposedly monitor the city services like that don't exist anymore, which is city council's job to do. I would look at completely restructuring how the elected and non-elected people work together in order to move us forward. I watched 12 years of these, and every year people talk about the same thing: failed city services and some degree of discontent with the mayor. Every 4 years. So something has to change.
All right. Mr. Morrell, same question in 30 seconds. What would you do differently? Any issue or topic than Joe Giarrusso?
Yeah, so I ran against Joe 4 years ago. I was on this program, and I'm glad Ms. McCarron talked about having remote work, because that was something I brought up 4 years ago during COVID. Ask the neighbors at Blue Oak Barbecue if there's something that they would like different from Joe Giarrusso, and that's making sure that we don't circumvent the neighborhood participation program in favor of closed-door Zoom calls with business owners and property owners, and honestly getting the neighbors more engaged and involved. They are the key stakeholders, and that's what I will do as representative for District 8.
All right, Ms. Mossing, same question in 30 seconds.
Sure. I would agree that Joe Giarrusso has done a really excellent job in being responsive to many, many citizen concerns. One area that I would work differently is actually in how, as a council member, I interact with the mayor's office and the departments at the city. I think having a less combative relationship and a more collaborative effort is really important if we're going to solve some of the structural problems that we're facing in city government.
All right, we're going to start this question with you. We're going to go down to 20 seconds. It's a really quick one, though, because we are kind of running out of time. In 20 seconds, Ms. Friedman, do you agree with the council's decision to limit Mayor LaToya Cantrell's travel?
Yes, I do. I think travel is necessary if we're learning from that and coming back to New Orleans and implementing that policy. I think travel on the same topic when you can maybe do it via Zoom or in other manners is not the best use of our taxpayers' dollars.
All right, Ms. McCarron, in 20 seconds, do you agree with the council's decision or attempts to limit the mayor's travel?
Yes, I do, but I think we should have done it last year,
Okay.
sooner.
All right, short and sweet. Ms. Mossing, same question in 20 seconds.
Yes, I don't know that we should limit a future mayor's travel based on this administration's sort of decision making, but in general, it seems like the travel was less productive and more of an escape mechanism.
All right, Mr. Morrell, same thing in 20 seconds.
Yeah, I'm all for government oversight, particularly with our executive branch that we see time and time again is more susceptible to corruption. So I'm all for having a stronger city council.
And then Ms. Neal, you have 20 seconds for that answer too.
Of course. Well, yes, I mean, that's the simple answer. But I'm with Alex that a more collaborative approach to governance is the only path forward. And changing the homeroom charter so that the city council actually can hold her accountable for these things.
All right, changing the home rule charter is a whole different conversation. Here's a yes or no.
Nonetheless.
Here's a yes or no. We're going to start with you because we're going to get to closing statements here in a second. Yes or no, is the Sewage and Water Board heading in the right direction when it comes to billing? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, Mr. Burrell, yes or no?
No.
Ms. Mossing,
When it comes to
are
billing,
they heading in the right direction?
Heading-
Yes or no when it comes to billing?
yes.
All right, Ms. McCarron?
Yes.
All right.
When it comes to billing, yes.
All right, I wish we had more time, but we do want to give you all the full 30 seconds each to sell yourself to voters and wrap this up. So we're going to go in reverse alphabetical order since we started with you. This time we're going to start with you, Ms. Neal. You get to start us off on closing statements. You have 30 seconds to let people know why you feel you're the best choice here.
Well, I'm the best choice because I believe a lot of people spend a lot of time talking about how they're from New Orleans, and I'm from an adjacent parish. But when you hear that, what I want you to hear is I've actually never lived in a city with really good governance. I've never worked in a large or international organization that had competency as the baseline and come in and had the ability to change it. The familiar has failed us. If we keep electing the same people who are going to do the same things or even smaller versions, you're going to get the same results.
All right, thank you, Ms. Neal. Mr. Morrell, you have 30 seconds to make a closing statement.
Thank you. 4 years ago, I was on this program talking about the affordability crisis, and since then, things have only gotten worse. But the one thing that has improved are our public school test scores and literacy rates. My kids give me revolutionary optimism, and it's incumbent upon us and our elders and our young people to make sure that we're building a better city together. I genuinely believe that we need to come together now more than ever to fight this moment of the challenges we're having in our democracy. And as your council member, I will fight for a strong and direct democracy. And I'm Bob Morell, and I'm for the people.
All right, thank you. Ms. Mossing, you have 30 seconds as well.
Sure. As I have spoken with constituents throughout our district, the same issues continue to emerge, and they're issues that are longstanding for New Orleans. So we're hearing about problems with infrastructure, we're hearing about problems with drainage, and I think it is time to try something new. I don't have any deep or lasting connections to previous administrations, to previous council people, and I'm excited to bring a fresh perspective with an understanding of how government is supposed to work so that we can build a better community for my students, for my children, and for all New Orleanians.
All right, Ms. McCarron, you have 30 seconds to make a closing statement.
District A, I'm Amy McCarron, and I believe your council member is your gateway to local city government. And I'm going to work as hard as possible and bring tenacity and my hard work to City Council and back to you, to the district. I'm going to use my experience with Councilmember Giarrusso as his Policy and Budget Director and my knowledge to make sure that city services get back on track. And I will never stop fighting for you. And I'm asking for your vote on October 11th. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I don't have to say the election day now as we wrap up. Thanks for giving it to us. Ms. Friedman, you have a chance to wrap us up on closing statements here.
Thank you. I believe government should make our lives easier, not harder. I'm not a politician, but I am a policy-focused, data-driven, take-action person. I promise you this: I will show up, I will listen, and I will fix the problem. If you want leadership style that is accessible, dependable, and transparent, I am your candidate. I'd be proud to earn your support, and I'm asking for your vote. Thank you. I'm Holly Friedman, running for City Council District 8.
Thank you all for being here and kicking us off on this debate season. We appreciate your time. Obviously, Election Day, as you just heard, is October 11th. That's all the time that we have, but you can see this entire segment starting Monday morning on WBEZ.